Victor Zsasz, //or/Zsasz/s/, also known as Mr. Zsasz or simply Zsasz, is a supervillain appearing in comic books published by DC Comics. The character first appeared in Batman, Shadow of the Bat #1, June 1992. He is a sadomasochistic and psychopathic serial killer who carves a tally mark onto himself for each of his victims. A recurring adversary of the superhero Batman, Zsasz belongs to the collective of enemies that make up Batman's rogues gallery. The character has been featured in various forms of non-comics media. Most notably, Danny Jacobs has voiced Zsasz in the Batman Arkham video game franchise, and he has been portrayed in live action by Anthony Carrigan in the television series Gotham 5-6, Alex Morph in the Arrowverse series Batwoman, Tim Booth in the film Batman Begins, 2005, and Chris Messina in the DC Extended Universe film Birds of Prey, 2020. Zsasz first appeared in Batman, Shadow of the Bat #1, June 1992, as part of the Batman, The Last Arkham 4-part story arc, and his origin story was told in the Batman Chronicles #3, December 1996. Both stories were written by Alan Grant and drawn by Norm Breyfogle. As revealed in the foreword to the trade paperback of Batman, The Last Arkham, Zsasz's name is derived from that of psychiatrist Thomas Zsasz. Grant saw the name while visiting a library. In Batman Chronicles #3, told by Zsasz himself, it is learned that Victor Zsasz was the head of his own international company and had amassed a large personal fortune in addition to his family's wealth. At the age of 25, his parents died in a boating accident, sending him into a deep depression. He turned to gambling, losing money in competitions around the world. One night, he ended up in a Gotham City casino known as the Iceberg Lounge, where he gambled everything he owned and ended up losing it all to the Penguin. Afterwards he saw that his life was empty, driven by desire, and there was no point to his existence. While Zsasz was attempting to commit suicide by jumping from Gotham Bridge, a homeless man tried to assault him with a knife after Zsasz refused to give him money. Instinctively grabbing the knife, Zsasz saw in the man's eyes that all life is meaningless and that he has been declared insane and is regularly incarcerated in Arkham Asylum courtesy of Batman, breaking out on occasion to carry on his killing. During his debut appearance in Batman, Shadow of the Bat's opening story arc, Batman, The Last Arkham, Zsasz bribes a contractor to include a secret passage leading out from his cell during the asylum's reconstruction under its new head, Jeremiah Arkham, who inherited the asylum from his uncle, Amadeus Arkham. Although Zsasz is restrained during the daytime when he is being treated personally by Jeremiah Arkham, he is brought back to his cell at night where he would leave the asylum through the secret passage, unbeknownst to the night guards. After murders fitting his modus operandi begin surfacing, Batman and Commissioner James Gordon fake Batman's insanity to get him inside the asylum and investigate Zsasz. Jeremiah Arkham is exceptionally brutal towards Batman, who had supposedly murdered a police officer. Over the course of the treatment, Zsasz had warped Jeremiah's mind and turned him into a mere henchman. Due to these continuous conversations with Jeremiah Arkham, Zsasz realizes Batman is a plant and subsequently murders both the contractor and another inmate at Arkham who knows of Zsasz's ploy. Both Nightwing and Batman catch up to Zsasz when he tries to escape for the final time and put him back in Arkham. Zsasz later appears in parts 3 and 4 of the Nightfall saga. In part 3 of Nightfall, Zsasz takes an all-girls boarding school hostage and holds the students at knife point until Batman arrives, briefly managing to kill 2 police officers who were sent to arrest him. Though weakened both physically and mentally due to the strain of pushing
it's like
himself
Christmas.
for so long to
What do you
capture the
want?
escaped inmates,
Oh, I
Batman
was just
fights with
passing
Zsasz
by.
and tries to ignore the
Just gonna go to
lunatics.
waste.
He finally
Is that
escapes
pepperoni?
after Zsasz says that they are really one and the same, and administers a savage
Seriously? Hey, do you guys have any canned
During the
peaches?
No Man's Land storyline,
I'm trading
Zsasz
arm and
is a
leg for
patient
that
in
right
Dr.
now.
Leslie Tompkins
Not mine.
Field Hospital for
Somebody
a
else's.
while.
Let's go get a milkshake.
Eminently deadly even when unconscious and strapped to a stretcher when he manages to open one of the arteries of a field
I'm not even
orderly
gonna
with his
ask.
fingernails. Once he wakes up, he is confronted
What's
by
happening?
Dr. Tompkins, whose utter selfless charity sharply contrasts with his total emptiness. She briefly gives him pause, but is finally repelled by his profound evil. Zsasz later appears in Detective Comics number 796, where he fights Stephanie Brown in her role as Robin. He attempts to slit her throat, but is distracted by her unexpected ferocity and falls back, where he attacks and attempts to kill Batman. However, Stephanie eventually defeats him. Zsasz makes a brief appearance in Infinite Crisis number 7. He is part of the secret society of supervillains and is one of the many of their members sent to attack the city of Metropolis. The society loses. Zsasz is not seen in any major villainous role again until Detective Comics number 815, released in March 2006, entitled Victims. Before a quarterly psychiatric review, Zsasz kills his guards with metal poles attached to his neck bracket and escapes to kill again. Batman hunts for Zsasz, which proves unsuccessful until Zsasz gains access to a charity event, attended by Bruce Wayne, and stabs Wayne's beloved butler, Alfred Pennyworth, in the stomach. Wayne drives Alfred to the hospital, saving his life. To lure Zsasz to him, Wayne holds a press conference in which he announces that Alfred is still alive. Having already made a scar for Alfred, Zsasz realizes that his tally is off by 1. Zsasz remarks, "My skin, it's crawling, every inch of it feels wrong." During the second part of Victims, Detective Comics number 816, after a fight with Batman, Zsasz proceeds to the hospital to finish off Alfred. Batman catches him off guard and knocks him unconscious, thus saving Alfred's life and sending Zsasz back to Arkham. Throughout this appearance, Cliff Chiang's artwork portrays Zsasz with visual elements commonly associated with the skinhead subculture, including work boots resembling Doc Martens, tight jeans, a white tank top, suspenders or braces, and a close-cropped hairstyle. Additionally, Chiang's portrayal of Zsasz is more outwardly physically imposing than the gaunt, wiry physique created by Breyfogle and favored by most subsequent artists. No dialogue in the story arc references Zsasz being a skinhead, nor does it explain his increased musculature, and it is likely these visual elements were the decision of the artist. Zsasz is later seen again in the Gotham Underground story arc where, in issue number 3, he appears in a disguised Batman cell at Blackgate Prison and attempts to kill him with a knife. He ends up cutting Batman's arm just as he was waking up, and the resulting fight ends with Zsasz being knocked unconscious and Batman being rushed to the hospital. A naked, desperate and totally deranged Zsasz appeared in the first issue of Batman, Cacophony, 2008, written by film director Kevin Smith, killing a young couple and threatening their children before Batman subdues him. His thoughts move so quickly that there are no spaces between the words. In the issue, Batman says that of all the criminals he fights, he hates Zsasz the most. Well, any dream of Zsasz would culminate in mass murder. Apprehensive at first on how to go about this, he eventually decides to take Black Mask up on his offer, dressing in Armani suits, appearing near exactly the image of Woody Harrelson's character in Natural Born Killers, and purchasing a warehouse as his base of operations. During an investigation into the discovery of several children murdered by Humpty Dumpty, Damian Wayne is captured by a man soliciting runaway kids with the promise of a free meal and a place to stay. Damian discovers the man to be a close associate of Victor Zsasz and that Zsasz has been slowly building a financial empire using runaway children and kidnapped orphans in a fight-to-the-death arena where people bet on the winners. The winning child faces a new contestant, and so on, until the last child left fights Zsasz one-on-one, with the promise of freedom for winning, with it clearly evident none have won thus far. Having seen the horrors that Zsasz has left, as well as a haunting memory of seeing the dead bodies of the children he killed, Damian questions why Bruce or Dick have allowed a man like Zsasz to be left alive, despite their moral code against murder. Damian manages to subdue Victor and attack him viciously with a sword, after which he falls into Gotham Harbor. Not wanting to defy his mentor and late father's beliefs, he promises Dick that the blow was not fatal since he missed Zsasz's spine, but indicated that his chances of survival were slim. Zsasz is later seen in captivity in Detective Comics number 865, after Black Mask's Jeremiah Arkham apprehension in Arkham Asylum. While no reference is made to Zsasz's injury, nor does he appear to be injured, his presence in Arkham alongside Jeremiah strongly suggests the events of this issue take place subsequent to the injury, meaning he did survive the attack. In addition to his wiry yet tall physique, Zsasz is extremely agile and flexible, able to go toe-to-toe with even Batman for brief bouts. Though he favors slitting his victims' throats with knives, he has no reservations about tossing blades at opponents if the occasion calls for it, and even carries several spare knives for this purpose. Though he personally dislikes guns, considering them unreliable, Zsasz is known to occasionally carry firearms to coerce his selected victims. Even bare-handed, Zsasz is a formidable opponent, As he is locked away in an enormous steel containment unit for 16 hours a day, he has made a habit of practicing isometrics in the cramped space to strengthen his body. Zsasz is incredibly intelligent and is described as having a brilliant criminal mind. He is constantly thinking quickly both while incarcerated and active, and some of his escapes have been a result of his cunning schemes. Zsasz is completely unpredictable, having no qualms about who he kills, when and where. Thus, he is almost impossible to track, even if signs of his modus operandi appear evident, as there is no motive or clue trail to follow. Such unpredictability also renders him a danger to anyone and everyone who may encounter him. During the Streets of Gotham's story arc, it is learned that Zsasz sees the world as bathed in red, and everyone in it as a victim he has murdered. He envisions both friend, Black Mask, and foe, Dick Grayson, as having died at his hand with their throats slashed. During his battle with Damian, Zsasz begins to lose his composure when he begins to see him as a living human being rather than as a dead body.